All right, everybody, welcome to a Friday edition of Teaching Crypto. Very special here as we hopefully turn this bull run around. AZ Crypto with Mr. FOMO. Mr. FOMO, people are frustrated. We're here to talk them off the ledge. Maybe you're here to push them off the ledge. I don't know. But
I'm
Bitcoin
frustrated.
right now, still chilling at 96. That's not the issue. 96, it's not where we want to be, but it's not like we've gone down to 70 or 80K or anything crazy like that. The problem is the alts have just been dormant. By the way, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Please share the show. So here we go. We really talked about getting above 100K and establishing that as a base to really move on up. Hasn't happened. It's February 14th. We're halfway through the month here. And February, after halvings during cycles, post-election is usually a very bullish month. We just haven't had it so far. A lot of economic uncertainty. How concerned are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 5 right now. I'm concerned not only because the economic uncertainty that drives a wedge in between us and a bull run big time, but also the amount of coins that are on the market and the amount of meme coins that pop up every day that people are speculating on and probably losing a lot of money on.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm nervous and frustrated at this bull run.
Well, I think a lot of people are. No, and I hate to do this. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. If we zoom out a year ago, look at that, under 52K. Now, eventually,
well, I think you made a good point. Bitcoin's not the problem. The altcoins are the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you zoom out on the altcoins, you're not getting that kind of a chart. You're getting a little bit, like you zoom out on a yearly on all of the altcoins, they've definitely come up, but some of them made their all-time highs already and then came back. And so
it depends on the token. Yeah.
Right.
There's been significant retrace on most of these, right? With the exception, like XRP is still up 400%. It's I was going to talk about that today. One of the signs that we might be getting out of this, XRP slowly to right now as we are on the air is pushing 270. And so that's interesting to me because during these mini tiny bears, they're not real bears. When coins slowly start showing green, it's a good sign. But XRP is one of the few that's doing this, right? It hit 178 just 2.5 weeks ago, during when the tariffs first started. So I mean that gets me a little optimistic. Again, though, you made a good point, and I think we have to hit this hard. There are a lot of tokens. There's still no regulation.
11 million tokens.
The days of just picking a random project and knowing it's going to be green for 3-4 weeks straight, those days are probably gone. The days of waiting for your 5 to 10x, unless you're finding something brand new out of the box, those days are probably long gone. But that doesn't mean if you do your research, you can't make some gains here. And I think that's important. I think you just got to be realistic. I didn't think you're going to have to be very super quick to take profits. I don't know how much longer this is going to last, but I can't anticipate it's going to be too long because you get into March and you still haven't seen the alts run. That's a huge problem. That is a huge problem. And then you get into April, you've never seen that in any cycle before. Not a dormant cycle from December all the way to April. Right now we're in February. Got ahead of myself. So I do anticipate my prediction for Bitcoin March 1st, I know you don't like to make predictions, is we will get back to the 110K level in the next 2 weeks. If we don't, we got to establish 100K. But if we go back to being in the 80s again, it doesn't mean we can't get all-time highs quickly again. but that does mean the alts will have retraced yet again. And at some point, it's hard to make, forget about life-changing gains, significant gains when you know that, to be honest with you, this is all limited in time. This is not a super cycle where Bitcoin is going to keep going up over the next 2 years. I still believe there will be a bear market. Will it look exactly the same as in the past? No, I don't think we're going to get the 80 to 90% retrace or even a 70% retrace. Could we get a 50% retrace? Absolutely. I could see a scenario where Bitcoin gets to 180K. Remember my estimate, 150, and we go down to 90 by 2026. That's early 2027. That's very realistic. Very realistic. And that's why you want to keep it here, because having, as much as we love Bitcoin, having it at 180 and watching it go down all the way to 90, that's a lot of profits you've left on the table. And you've also kept yourself from buying more Bitcoin for the next bull run.
Yeah, and I think you hit on a lot of different things there. But I think for me, I think the disappointment in this bull run is I thought the narratives would be surrounding utility. I thought finally we had made it to that point where AI would be the narrative, or made in the USA would be the narrative. We've talked about these things on the show, but we still are in this era of degen gamblers who are looking for the next meme coin on Solana. And until that stops, you're going to have 12 million, 13 million, 14 million coins on the market. And people are going to constantly do this. And it's going to draw money away from the better projects, the projects with actual utility.
Well, speaking of this, if I would have told you this 4 years ago, you probably would have thought I was crazy. The SEC acknowledges that Grayscale is filing for a spot Dogecoin ETF. So yeah, look, again, full disclosure, we do have some in our portfolio, but there doesn't need to be a Bitcoin Dogecoin ETF. I don't think it's necessary. But again, that kind of shows you where we are. One last thing of positivity,
hopefully that pumps Dogecoin the way it pumped Bitcoin, but I don't have. I'm not smoking that hope.
Well, I still think Dogecoin will make a run. Listen, I think Dogecoin has a run in it. Again, though, this is getting delayed a little bit, but it has a run in it over the next couple months. I thought it would come sooner, but I still do think you'll see Doge kind of push that dollar narrative. Now, GameStop is meeting with Michael Saylor, and that sparked a huge rally yesterday for the GameStop stock. I like this. A Japanese company was raising billions of yen yesterday to supposedly buy Bitcoin. Hasn't happened yet. The momentum is still there. The states are, I feel like, Mr. Fomo, ahead of the country to actually do the Bitcoin reserve. I think the states are moving faster. And I think you could see a state do something within the next 6 to 12 months for sure. That's not the timeline we were expecting. I have no faith that we're going to get a national Bitcoin reserve in the next 30 days. I hope to be proven wrong. It seems like this thing is more of a month. It's going to take months instead of days and weeks. And that's not what we were led to believe, to be honest with you. So I don't want to go down that road, but
give it time. We will eventually see a national Bitcoin reserve. I don't know when that will be, but I think eventually we will see that. I think that the smart people will eventually win out and they will get a national Bitcoin reserve. But again, the Conservative Party is more about states' rights and taking not having that overseer. So I'm not necessarily surprised. I don't think they want action on the federal level. I think they like to see the action on the local and state level. And so I'm not surprised to see the states with Bitcoin reserves, or at least writing bills to get Bitcoin reserves. It seemed kind of in line with what the party thinks.
The next 6 weeks for me, I think, is a now or never for ETH. Sitting right below 2,700. High this year, 4,100. All-time high, 4,600. Back in the last cycle, ETH has a lot of work to do. And supposedly whales are accumulating behind the scenes, according to the data. We just have not seen the price action match that, like everything else. Let's see what happens. I think the next 2 weeks here are pretty critical. I don't think you want to go into March with a negative February when everyone was expecting a very bullish month. That's my opinion for sure.
I think that it's do or die time for all the alts. We need to see some positive action or something's wrong with this bull run. And the thing that's wrong, I think we've already mentioned a couple of times, but it's not that people are betting on utility. Before we go, I wanted to mention a book that I got. It's called Bitcoin Explained Like I'm 5. And this is a great book, not just for you and your kids, but for you and those friends that keep telling you that Bitcoin is garbage, that they don't really understand Bitcoin. This book will help them understand Bitcoin in a very simplistic and very easy way. And I recommend at least getting one just to have on hand for yourself. But if you I didn't have anything to do with this book, but if you want, get several so that you can hand them out to those friends. But I have one just in case. I gave it to my dad to let him look over, and he learned a lot about it.
You did a great video. Maybe we'll link it in below before the end of the day. What is Bitcoin? You did that several years ago. We should book that. Hey, our store is open, guys. We got some pretty cool stuff. Check it out. As always, super chats are available. Hang in there. You're only a few $1,000s away from 100K. You're only, honestly, with the right situation, we could see all-time highs in 2 to 3 days. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's not completely unheard of that this whole thing can turn around pretty quickly. Let's see what the next 2 weeks bring. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Mr. Fun with Z.